What's up, guys and gals? My name is Splattercat, and I'm here today taking another look at Project Zomboid. We are approaching the big 30 mark, actually. I think this may actually be the 30th episode. I don't know. I record these in blocks. So what we're doing today is I think we're finally going to hit the lumber camp that's up to the northwest. We're going to give that some thought. We've actually got a lot of groups of zombies around this location, and so I'm really feeling like I'm not going to be able to get a whole lot of work done until they disperse a tad. Let's go ahead and hit the main thoroughfare over here. I don't have any food with me, so we're going to have to get some food at our other house, and I think that's going to be our goal for this particular day in game. Is we're just going to try and get to our other house. Once we're there, we're going to stock up for the trip over to the lumber yard, and one of the things that we do need, we need a nice handful of nails. Now, we've got like 100 nails, but I just don't feel like that's going to be enough product to get us taken care of in the long run of things. We are trying to do a lot of construction. I've been able to chop up a bunch of planks and get myself situated somewhat comfortably, but nails have always been the limiting reagent in this whole equation, so I think what we'll do is just get our hands on as many nails as possible. I don't think we're going to go for anything other than nails while we're at the lumber yard, unless anything else like amazing shows up. Now, other viewers had mentioned for just a moment, or they had mentioned in the past, that there was a distinct possibility that there was kind of a second wave of zombies that would show up if you played the game long enough and survived for a sufficient amount of time. I'm not going to corroborate that because I'm not positive if it's the truth. However, what I will say in support of that idea is that I am seeing a ton more zombies. Like, zombies are literally everywhere now, whereas before, I could sort of move around a little bit and not have to worry about being consumed. As the game stands right now, I have noticed a huge density of zombies just about everywhere, and that does speak to the validity of that particular mechanic. Now, I think, there it is, we're at the hotel right now. In the last episode, we managed to wipe out a ton of zombies. In fact, I did a head count, and I believe we killed about 300 on the dot. But we didn't make any type of cumulative dent in the overall horde. I was really hoping that our neighborhood would be more or less cleared out by the time we finished with that giant slaughter operation, just kind of putting the machete to them, just taking the screws to the zombies as best as we possibly could. Since we've never actually stood our ground and fought before, we have run them off a few times, but that's hardly the giant engagement we tried to turn the last episode into. Unfortunately, it was a giant failure. Now, on the plus side, I still have 120 shotgun shells left, just to give you some sort of idea how many weapons we have left. We still have 120 rounds left for the shotgun, and I think if we were to hang out in that area and just keep on firing, we would probably be okay, but I can't guarantee that the zombies aren't just coming out of the woodworks from other areas. I have no idea how far the gunshot travels every time I fire. Wow, that is quite the horde. We're gonna have to weave our way through somewhat carefully here. Let me see if I can find, I think we're gonna make a turn when we get to the Waffle House. Is probably the best place to make a turn for our other home. However, I'm not sure where the zombies are at right now. Up here at Northhold, down at Planet Pills, the zombies seem to have just swamped the location. That's why I'm kind of getting out of there for a bit too. I don't think they're going to bother the house at all. Realistically, I think they're probably just going to wander around. And that's why I figured we needed to come up with some kind of alternate advancement or some kind of goal for us to attack elsewhere. Because with Planet Pills being where it's at, there's just not a whole lot of things we can do with it right now. I don't think the Crepe Shack is overrun, but I'm going to go through the front door and hope for the best here. We looted this long ago, probably in like the 10th or 11th episode when we were still kind of on our scavenging spree. I think there's a back door back here somewhere. Hopefully not bogged down with the undead. You can see that it took us a little bit of, if you're just coming into the series, because I know sometimes people don't start with the first episode, you like to get a feel for what's down the road rather than what's been guaranteed or what's already been laid down. This is a very current episode as of right now. If you're watching this like 5 years from now, not so current anymore. But what I will say is that in one of the earlier episodes, it took us quite a bit of time to actually clear out that location and get ourselves situated, and it turned out to be a pretty good scavenging location. We ended up getting a lot of food from it. It being a restaurant, that kind of makes sense. I believe we got to go down this road right here to get back to Northhold, and once we get there, we'll start thinking about the different provisions we're going to need when we go to the lumber camp. This is going to be one of my first experiences with the lumber camp, actually. I'll come clean on that. I've never been there before, and I'm a little confused about whether I should bring an axe with me. My decision in bringing the axe will be to chop down any doors that we need to get through, assuming that they're going to have warehouses, things of that nature. I don't know why I left the door open here. That makes me a little bit nervous. Let's take stock of what food we have on hand. We've got 4 beef jerkies. I'll grab all of those. And you'll see here I found a duffel bag in my other house. At Planet Pills, I found myself a duffel bag and managed to get it all nice and loaded up. We've got a wet bath towel right here. I'm just going to drop it on the floor. I'm going to treat it like my normal college apartment. Just throw everything that I'm not currently using on the ground. Over here, we've got some chips. We'll take those too. I don't know how long this trip is going to be. I do have a distinct feeling that we're going to be out of the house for a little while, so let's grab as much food as we can just to make our lives easier. We'll also eat up, maybe bring 2 water bottles, but I don't want to bring too many things just in case. Oh, there's 9mm rounds here. Interesting. All right. I'm going to bring an axe on this one, I think. Do we have a broken axe there? Is that what that is, or is that a perfect axe? I think it's a perfect axe. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's a perfect axe. We're going to unload the baseball bat in that case. We're going to bring this with us with the intent of maybe chopping down some doors. It's also going to be a better weapon in case we get ourselves into any type of melee combat. It's only 1740, so 540. Let me take a look around the house and figure out anything else we might need for the days to come. I have no idea how long this excursion is going to take, which makes me a tad nervous too. It looked like it was raining indoors for just a moment there. I am semi-tempted to bring some water along with me. Simply because you never know. You just don't. Bringing 2 water bottles means that I can be away from home for quite some time. I'm going to refill 1 water bottle now. We'll try and refill it later on too. That'll work out. Let's get ourselves all nice and drunk away on water. Hopefully not getting ourselves waterlogged. They used to tell us that when I was a kid. Like, you'd be on the baseball field and they tell you not to drink too much water because you got waterlogged. Which meant you had that weird kind of sloshy feeling while you were running across the baseball diamond. You could feel like that glorp in your tummy while you're running around. Definitely an unpleasant feeling if you're trying to do any type of athletic endeavor. A brown blouse. Kind of just checking around the house, seeing what other things are left over. Things that were not quite as useful to me in the early game might have substantially more use now, so I just like to look through things and see what we have. I'm going to dry myself with the bath towel really quickly. I wish there was a use for like the bleach and some of the other chemicals that we could actually make explosives out of, but unfortunately that doesn't seem to be the case. Throw the wet bath towel back in there. No clue how to dry my bath towels. I did upgrade to the newest edition, actually, before I changed topics too quickly, but I did download the new version of Project Zomboid, but for whatever reason it wouldn't open this save, so I think it wanted me to make a fresh game. It just was not having this save game. Every time I tried to load up good old Kickapoo, it seems to have gotten a little grumpy. Now we do have some drugs over here. Beta blockers might be an interesting thing to bring along. If you're trying to, what I think you do in order to take a singular pill, I had somebody ask that. I actually don't know if that's a bug right now. Right here we've got 3 painkillers. Let me see really fast. I thought maybe you could open this up. Oh, you can't. Alright, so what the problem is I had somebody ask me in the comments in a previous episode how you actually take 1 pill at a time, and this is a problem that I'm pretty aware of, where if you tell your character to take a pill, they take the whole box and end up killing themselves just with too much intake. Absolutely overdosing. And unfortunately, I don't know how to remedy that, so if you guys know how, let us know down in the comments. It'll be really useful, and I'd like to hear it. But as of right now, I have no idea how to take 1 pill at a time. You can't split the stacks like you can like with these planks right here, for example. You can't split apart the actual stack of pills, and you end up just kind of being miserable. 7:50 right now, we're a little bit tired. Let me grab some reading material just in case we get bored. We'll grab a newspaper, and then we're just going to pass some time because I'm feeling like I'm wasting a little bit of video recording time because we did start this video a little bit later into the day than I am used to doing. Typically when I start these off, I try to make it like first thing in the morning. We're very tired now. Yeah, I think we'll get away with sleeping. I'm not going to eat just yet because we're going to raid the fridge before we take off. Let me close up all the applicable doors, jump on into the sack, and see you all in the morning, which is actually coming up fairly shortly. I've always wondered why when you're sleeping, like, there's some weird philosophical things I've been thinking about where I had a lecturer talk about how when you go to sleep every night, you disappear off the grid. Like, as far as you know when you're sleeping, like, you don't know whether you exist or not. And I've been pondering that. It's an interesting concept, and also, like, the passage of time while you're asleep kind of fascinates me. But let me eat one of these cans of soup here, and then we'll head off towards the lumberyard. Hopefully my trajectory will be somewhat adequate to get us there. I'm not positive exactly how to get there, but as far as I know, if I just head up and left or to the northwest from here, we should be okay. We got ourselves an axe, so doors shouldn't be a problem. We got a horde right there. Yet another one. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of zombie migration. That's the other thing that I've somewhat noticed in newer episodes versus when we first started out. Like, let me take a look at our schedule right here. And it appears as though we are 2 months and 1 day into the game. One thing that I've noticed that's different about the long game rather than the short game is that the hordes don't seem to move around quite as much. Now, I don't know if that's due to the fact that the game has sort of that metagame dungeon master pulling the strings, and that the dungeon master is assuming that there's no survivors left other than us at this point, so the zombies have no reason to move around, or if it's hard programmed in, just stop wandering around, and then that's how they justify it. I don't really want to cut through any of these forests if I can help it. I want to leave Smokey the Bear somewhat unmisty. I want to leave him less than weeping. But I think the direction I want to go is kind of out this way. And that's another reason I brought a bunch of food with me, is just in case I get lost out here, we don't get ourselves butchered. Now, I don't know what kind of resistance we're going to come across at the lumber mill either, which is an interesting thing to discuss. No idea there. Here seems to be a road with a path. Let's go ahead and follow this. If I end up... Oh, there it is, the McCoy Logging Company. That was easier than expected. Now, I didn't look at a map before we headed out here. I just knew that it was kind of to the northwest of our original North Hold house. We'll follow this road because I'm going to assume this is going to come up to a front gate. Hopefully an unlocked front gate if we can help it. Take a look at my skills really quickly, too, while we're walking. Now, in the last episode, we made some really good progress on our aiming statistic. We did really well there. Carpentry's coming along. It looks like we are going to have zombies here. That sort of sucks. I was hoping the logging camp would be mostly abandoned. Let's see if we can flank our way around them. These aren't a really big group of zombies. Oh, there's a little few more right there. Oh, one of them heard me. It's because I hit that tree right there. I made that shuffly noise. I'm not going to risk killing him off right now because we're too close and it'll draw everything down on us. And I really don't want to start this thing off by just sprinting all over the place trying to bail through windows to survive. I would like to set kind of an itinerary for this episode where I want to get into the logging camp. I want to take a look around. I want to make a threat assessment. I think threat assessments in this game are a very good way to start out any excursion into the unknown. We don't know what we're up against, and this is the first time we've actually been so far away from home that we really can't. If it gets dark, we're stuck here. There's no way for us to get back home, so hopefully... Well, there's a few more. It doesn't look like they're too bad out here, though, in the middle of nowhere. It looks like we've got mostly stragglers. Yeah, it looks like it's just mostly little packs of like 2 and 3. I don't know whether I should go left or right here. Or left or straight, I suppose, depending on your orientation. We've picked up another little quick mover here. Ah, here we are, the McCoy Logging Company. Having a little look-see, just hopefully getting into the camp safely without making any friends here. Yikes, and it's looking pretty bogged down. This isn't feeling like a really safe location to actually scavenge for nails to me, but I just don't know, guys. Preliminary threat assessment right now is looking pretty overwhelmingly negative. That's not a trailer, is it? That's just a storage shed. Okay. Let's hit some of the dumpsters and maybe we'll find something useful. If we could find a gas can out here, I would assume they're going to have gas everywhere. Just based on the fact that it's probably going to take some heavy equipment to move these things around. Planks, pens, paper. Yikes. Nothing there. Hoping we have some Shizawi moments during this episode because there are some pivotal things that I really do feel are going to be necessary for our survival. Let me check this trash can over here. I think there's a secondary warehouse off to the northeast. And for those of you that don't know, I treat this diagonal as north just because I feel better by making that distinction. It allows me to keep myself at least marginally oriented. I haven't actually looked at any maps that have a... there's a lot of blood here. Not feeling good about this. This is an area with a lot of little corridors right here that I'd have to run to escape. I don't feel good about the possibility of stopping at those warehouses to the northeast either. There's just no guarantee that there's going to be anything useful to us. Unless what we're looking for are the undead. If the undead are for some reason useful to us in a utilitarian manner, then we've got plenty of those. But other than the undead, we don't seem to have a whole lot. We got a lot of problems and not a lot of solutions right now. Let's see if we can keep moving. We haven't woke anything up yet, which is really good. I don't know if they're going to be able to hear me through the log pile, so I'm going to move a little bit slow. I also don't know if we can loot these log piles. Maybe I should try that as well. Just seeing if there's any... Yeah, there's no text box or anything for the log piles. I think there might be a couple... I think there might be a couple of trailers down here, like administration supervisors trailers or something. We might try to take a look in those and possibly see, and we had disappearing dumpsters. Magic dumpsters. I cast magic dumpster. That is very odd that the dumpsters seem to be non-existent. As if we don't have enough problems. We have zombies. We've also got disappearing dumpsters. Let me take a look in through here. I don't know what this is. And I was gonna bust out the window, but now I'm rethinking that strategy right now. There we go. So there's some administration trailers. This might be worth holding up for in the night, but let's do a little bit of scavenging first and foremost. Just see what we can come across. I'd like to at least check some of these trash cans. Maybe there's an empty bottle. I'll definitely take that. Are there any chairs or anything in here? Anything that I can sleep on would be my first concern. I don't want... Oop, I accidentally ran. That might wake them up. Nope, we're still good. Alright, I'm going to go down and actually see... There's no back window. I was going to try and go around the back and open from there. There is a water cooler, which is an interesting choice. Let's go through the window really quickly. We'll shut this off. And we do have a water cooler, which is going to allow us to replenish our water supplies. Very, very nice. Let me fill these on up. There we are. And so now we're in a much better position because we've got 3 water bottles to play with. However, that is using up a bit of our weight allotment. So let me throw those into the bag, along with the pen, the newspaper, and all the other stuff. I don't think I equipped the duffel bag as a secondary either. There we go. So the duffel bag's now a secondary. There are some chairs in here, so I'm going to try and keep this as a fallback location, just in case. Lipstick. So apparently the supervisor was a lady. Let's see, a lady lumberjack, as far as I can tell. Those are tiny barricades. And I guess when I looked... Yeah, these all appear to just not be accessible. Maybe if I had a sledgehammer... But I'm not seeing a lot of things that are going to be amazingly useful at this location. This seems to be kind of a waste of time. Let's see if we can huddle our way down here and just kind of follow the corners. Oh, they seem to have found me here. There is an open shed right there, something to think about. I think what I'm going to do right here is let's see if we can draw them all to right there. And then maybe lose them back this way. Okay, so there's some supplies right there that we want to think about. And right now, I'm just going to wait and see where the horde ends up. So he's ended up right there. They can't see me. I'm pretty much in the clear right now. However, I have made the nasty mistake of relocating them right to the location where I wanted to scavenge from. There's a bunch of boxes in there, and I am interested in partaking of the fine establishment. Let's see if maybe I can drag things over to here and then sneak the hell away later on. That'll have the added effect of possibly drawing things away from the house that we're trying to occupy. Those two still seem to have a bead on me. Oh, no. I almost walked into those ones. Let me get on down here. I'm going to follow the fence. And hopefully give them the slip. There's not a lot of cover here, which is a big problem. I don't have any windows or anything else to duck through, but I do want access to those trailers. Or to these hauling canisters. Let me see how many zombies I can take out here. We don't have a lot of axe skills, unfortunately. We are, however... Oh, no, I think we did the outdoorsman. Let me see if maybe I can draw them out a little bit more efficiently. I'm going to stay right here and see where they watch from. I think they're still looking right at me. Yep. The zombies do seem to have this obnoxious ability to just never let go. I may actually just try and kill these. I don't think we're going to have a lot of luck with clearing the location via traditional means. So I suppose we'll just hang tight and get a little bit of the old axe skills. There we go. So we've trashed ourselves a little grouping there. I am going to check the bodies, even though I've really kind of relegated myself to thinking there's no point At least in my game. I don't know, you guys seem to, like, you guys talk about finding all kinds of good stuff. The best thing I ever found on a zombie thus far is a pistol, and I've looted hundreds of them, and I've never seen anything else. Let me sneak on up in here. Hopefully there's nobody in here. This is a really bad spot to get trapped in. Nothing in any of these containers thus far. A hammer. There's some of the nails that we wanted. A few more. And 5 more. But beyond that, I don't think we're going to be able to access some of the stuff that's up in the back. So for now, what we might consider doing... Let's centralize the loot. That's what I'm going to do. I do want to bring these hammers and things along. So we'll take the hammers, we'll take the saw as well. And what we'll do is we'll actually re-centralize these in the office building so that if we ever have to come back here, all of the tangibly decent loot will be back in one spot. Make the whole thing a little bit more rapid and quick. Just speed up the process so I don't end up like sitting around like I sometimes do wondering where the hell everything is gone. And we've picked up a zombie even while stealthing. That's lovely. Let's see if I can backpedal. Oh, we've picked up 2. Even better. Well, let me see if I can lose them by any chance here. I'm going to go around the back of the building, possibly. Oh, never mind. No, I'm not. Just ridiculous line of sight sometimes. And there really is no way for me to deal with this effectively, so let's just, you know what, screw it. I have to draw everything the hell away from our sleeping spot tonight, so that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna duck through some of these right here. And hopefully, that'll be enough of a diversion to keep myself safe. God, some of these, I'm stealthing perfectly fine, and we have a high stealth skill, so I don't know why some of these are seeing me, especially when it's almost dusk. It's becoming a tad of a frustration, just how much aggro I'm picking up here while sneaking, and I have no clue why. It's kind of a bitch. I don't know why the zombies seem so much more active now than they were before, but maybe they get tougher as the game goes along too, I just don't know. They become more skilled at zombitry, I guess. Is what I would call it, but it is getting late right now, so I need to figure out a place to sleep. I definitely need to get that wrangled. The problem is with the distribution, I don't know why there would be so many zombies out here at the lumber camp, first and foremost. This seems like a low priority location for zombies. Obviously, this place is going to be abandoned pretty quickly once the workers figure out that their families aren't safe. Unlike, say, a gun store where I figured everybody would be swarming that place. This is going to be one of our risky nights out, unfortunately, and we're already drowsy. I'm going to take the long way around now that it's dark. I'm going to hit this fence over here and just kind of trail it to the left. Never mind. The zombies seem to have been called off in a different direction. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to wrangle as best we can here. And I think we'll be safe. There we go. Alright, I don't think anybody has a scene as of yet. I prefer to stay away from the windows, though, just in case. I'll probably sleep in this chair right here, since there's no easy way for anything to see us sitting here. We're a little bit hungry for the time being, but I'll probably deal with that in the morning. Let's throw our nails and all of our spoils here, as I said, into the containers where we're going to put them. So we'll keep the hammer and the saw there for later. There we are. Let me dig around here. We'll actually, yeah, we'll eat our chips in the morning, I guess. And let's give it a little bit of a time pass. And then we'll sleep till morning. And then we'll talk about kind of what our plans are going to be for the next episode or so. Now that we're sitting here, this is kind of a precarious spot for me to end the episode, simply because we're not at a good stopping spot. However, what I'd like to do from here is head off to the northeast. The northeast is going to have, I think, a bit more useful stuff. There's some warehouses and things up there. Eat some beef jerky really quickly, and also fill our water bottle. And yeah, it looks like they resituated a little bit. But let's just be on our way. I think we're gonna get damp here no matter what we try. And there's a zombie in there. I was thinking about jumping through there, and I'm pretty glad that I didn't. Let's just get on the move. It's decided to be unbearably rainy again. We've had a nice little span of just horribly soggy weather in this game. We've had bad luck with that so far. I think as long as we can get out of the logging camp, I think we'll be alright though. I do wish that the game had like an umbrella or something of that nature that I could use, just to kind of get myself dried off a little bit while you're out and about. I think the warehouse is going to be this direction, but I'm not positive. If this ends up taking too long, what we'll do is we'll break it off and we'll turn this into a multi-part episode where we're just kind of running around grabbing things. I can't build anything down by Planet Pills anyways, simply because Planet Pills is overrun with zombies right now. I am sincerely hoping that this rain goes away in a reasonably decent amount of time. If it doesn't, this is really going to suck for us. We're already drenched and we've only been out in it for like 30 minutes. Looks like we've got some kind of large paddock, or possibly... well, it sort of looked like a runway for a moment. My granddad used to fly Cessnas and things like that. He's a career pilot and... well, he's an enthusiast. I don't know. He fixed helicopters for a long time during the whole Vietnam War thing. And then after that, he kind of got a pilot's license and did his thing. Let me see if any of these doors are open by any miracle. Doesn't look like I'm going to have that kind of luck. Let's do our first scan like we always do. Oh, there's a window. It's a factory. Okay. Just kill a zombie here, kill a zombie there. There we are. And now we've... I thought I heard the sound of somebody knocking. If they're inside, that's going to make this thing even more interesting as we breach this place. Kill as many of these guys as I can as they close with me here. The axe seems to do a pretty good amount of damage. I'm less terrified of using it than I am the baseball bat. The spiked baseball bat seems to do reasonably well, but the axe seems to get those first hit kills a lot more. And this slow zombie right here is just a little late to the punch. He's got to learn to blend in a little bit better. And once we get all these guys cleared out, we should have a reasonably decent next episode to scavenge. I'm going to break the episode off here while I finish whacking. I almost said while I finish whacking off these zombies, but I rethought it. That's not what we do to zombies. I'm going to finish whacking these zombies. And once they're all done and taken care of, I believe we should be able in the next episode to breach this place and figure out what kind of goodies are laying around. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerd Castle for another episode of Project Zomboid. Number 30 if my numbering is correct, although I could be wrong. I'll see you guys in the next episode for a little bit of the old factory raiding experience. Take it easy, guys.